Welcome to BrickTrains. I'm Joey, and today we're going to go over the AFT, the American Freedom Train, again, and see what progress I've made. So let's get in there and see what we got. Okay, so the last time we saw it, this is the locomotive, and this is just the under chassis, the wheels. We had a tan plate here. We didn't have these rails or skirts or whatever we're going to call those. We got those now. We have a little bit of a firebox going on, and we got the red going. So we're pretty close. Now we have some big improvements here coming, and let's show those. Are you ready? One big swoop. Dun da da. So I have most of the boiler and cab built. It's all one piece. I think we're going to go with those windows instead of this window. That one just looks too big, although I used it a lot on some of my trains. I used that on the big boy. So I think we're going to use that. We have room inside for controls, so we can get in there, so we can get some light in that. Yeah, we got room for some controls. So we have stud knot on top there, a little snot action. That's our whistle. Oops, let's see, we gotta get it to focus. There's our whistle. All right, and then this is our bell and a headlight. I'm still kind of working on that. It's got a jumper on it right now. It needs a tile there's a number 1 that's supposed to be there. We have some marker lights, and then those are going to be the running numbers up there. It does not have normally it does not have a gray smokestack, but I didn't have a black round, so we'll put that in there. Yeah, if you see any colors that look kind of oddball, little roof vent for the engineers there. So yeah, let's stick that back on. Something like that. That gets us pretty close to where that gets us pretty close to being done. I know this piece, that needs to be light bluish gray. That is actually light gray right there, and it needs to be light bluish gray. We're missing black slopes here, and we're missing some black slopes right there. And then I'm gonna call it pretty well done. So let's bring the rest of the train out. So we got our controller here, and we're gonna bring the rest of the train around. Oh, the big boy's coming too, so we've got 2 trains coming. Okay, so that's another big one, right? We haven't seen any of the tender yet. This is just a temporary, this is just a piece of paper and a piece of Scotch tape. But this is a presidential seal. And as you can see on the other side, it's covering up this misalignment of the red. But that is supposed to be that way. The actual AFT one, or Reading one, T1, the red came off lined up here, and this was supposed to line up with the cars. From all the pictures that I can see, it does not line up with the cars very well, which is a good thing, because it is off by like a plate or 2 from my cars. And at this point, I am unwilling to line them back up, because it has to go lower, and everything I've done it's just, I don't know, I may have to do it. I have the option. I can move this red line down lower and get it in line with the cars. I'm just not sure I'm going to do that. I don't know. We'll see. So what else have we done? So yeah, this is pretty much, we got the power functions in. This is going to be the coal bunker, which is going to be, well, let's put it up where you can see it. So we got the powered up. I said power functions. This is the powered up. This is going to be the coal bunker, which will be removable. We're going to have some rails here. We've got some ladder detail here. We've got handrail. This handrail here, it's going to be white. The Let's see what I think we got right there. Yeah, just a gray, but I'm gonna put some of that 3mm tubing. If I can find some in white. I don't know if it comes in white. It may have to come in light gray. We'll do that on all 4 corners because that Redding Tender has that. May do a little detail here in the middle on the bottom. Not sure yet. Kind of filling that gap. Yeah, and then there may be some ports up here. I ain't figured that out yet. I ain't got a real good. What I need to do is look at some Redding T1 pictures and see what it looks like. Not just necessarily pictures of the Freedom Train, because it was a T1 and they didn't make a whole lot of changes. They really just got it running and painted it up. So finish the coal bunker, finish up some of the detail. We've got to finish this entry here. I don't think I'm going to leave that open. I'll at least put something in here. Although I've kind of cornered myself. So I don't know. We'll see what we're going there. It's a problem with doing this stuff all without any plans and just kind of going along with what you got. Alright, so that's the T1. Let's look at the progress on the cars. So again, this is going to be, oh my gosh, I'm going to get it backwards. Display car or showcase car? I always get that backwards. At any rate, this is the one where they have there were 2 of these cars, and each one had 3 displays that you could just go and see. We talked about that in the past. So we're pretty close. Each one of these cars had like a grill right here, kind of an ugly looking grill. It's like just stuck that in. That was easy. Looks like my moon rover's a little big. I don't know. We may have to look at that, make that smaller. We got this, and this is the only one of the inserts that I have. Obviously, this is wrong. It's going to be light bluish gray all the way across the top. I'm just going on light bluish gray. That's what I'm going to do. Just going to make it easy. The roof will come out, so I can do this without dropping it. I'm going to tile it all in. There we go. So the roof is just these. I'm going to tile it in. So, and what I mean by tiling it in is I'm using tiles here. Alright, and it's only going to be connected here, and then there'll be, in these vestibules, there'll be a spot that comes up and it'll connect in. So it's not going to fall off, even if you turn it upside down. But we can still get access to it, fairly decent access to it. Although we don't really need access to it once we're done. But I'm going to do it anyway. Because I have a 5-year-old that loves to put things inside. And if I can't put the roof on, or if he can't get the roof off, he will take the roof off. This is the second one. So I ran out of parts again, but it's close. Still gotta get vestibules. I gotta get enough parts here. And I may change this. I ended up using plates there, but I ended up realizing that all these cars were at least 1 plate lower in my design than what I normally build passenger cars at. So, wanting to be consistent with the rest of my railroad, I ended up raising the cars 1 plate more. So that is actually going to change. I may even go back and change this. It's going to change that potentially from being plates there to being another brick high. So we'll see. Again, working with plans that are pretty old. Let's move this around on its own recognizance there. Alright. This is going to be the showcase cars. These got windows in them. These are the ones that everybody rode inside and looked at all the displays and stuff that were inside the train. So when the train came to visit, you could go in and see all the history stuff, that was available. So these are obviously very early stages. I do know that I want it. It's essentially going to be 7 wide right here. So it's going to hang off a half a brick each side. So I'm putting these jumpers in to get that lined up, and we need to be above that little yellow. Let's get that out. Oh no, look, I broke the thing. That little yellow piece right there. sticks up. And it's got to be free for the bogie. So I'm using the newer style plastic. We'll see how those do. And somehow I pulled this completely apart. That one wasn't right. Something's wrong with that bogie. Huh. Well, I've made a mess of that, haven't I? We'll set it off to the side. Some of this stuff, some of these bogies are just partly built. There's not enough pieces in them. I'm still waiting on pieces to come in. So, as you saw, if it gets loose or pops apart, then it was probably never built correctly to begin with. So, got to go through all of those. All right, now here's the last thing I got for today. And this is the end car, the tail car, observation car. They called it the press car. So they had a brass observation deck back here. They had a Freedom Train logo here on a circle. Right now I'm just representing it with a square 2x2 jumper and a little circle. It's just the pieces I had laying around just for placeholders. So I'll probably look at getting a circle tile and seeing if I can get either a sticker or something on there. It's going to be way too expensive to get one tile printed, one circle tile printed with that logo on it, but we'll see what we can do. These marker lights are interesting because that's not where you would normally see a black marker light like at a green. It's almost like it's a marker light from like a locomotive. Well, let's look at the big boys that comes around. Like right here, right there. It's almost what it looks like, but it looks like the AFT team put them on here. Now I don't know if it was for regulations in the 70s, if they needed some kind of lights. They definitely, in the pictures, do not look like they're original. Maybe they were. Maybe this was just a really strange car they used. So I modeled that. I thought it was one of those quirky looking little things that I needed to have. So we have those. It was just a straight passenger car, so there's nothing real fancy. A lot of windows, way more windows than are here. But yeah, so it's just going to have the roof, the very similar roof. That's another thing. Almost all these cars, most of these cars, the display cars, the showcase cars, were all made out of baggage cars that were modified. So they have one roof style. Some of the other equipment cars that they made all have a different kind of roof style. So we're going to end up with multiple kinds of roofs, and I'm going to try and do that as much as I can. Yeah, so we'll have a vestibule here with some doors here and the roof, and that will be it. So I'm kind of working both ends towards the middle here, I guess. There's going to be a lot of service cars to this train. So yeah, so that's the progress that I made so far. We'll get it running here. Maybe we'll get some pictures, some run-by pictures. Yeah, like I said, a lot of service cars. I'm not sure how many of these service cars my layout is going to be able to stand. 24 of these cars. I'm modeling them. They're going to be just a little bit shorter than what scale would have been. Of course, I'm doing it 6 wide, so scale's kind of out of the window. There were 3 flat cars, 2 tool cars, at least 2 tool cars. There was a kitchen, the pie car, a couple sleepers, at least 1 sleeper. So not only did they have a lot of the history stuff on the layout or in the train, but they had a lot of support staff they had to take care of, and vehicles. They even had let's see, I think there were 2 vehicles that were always following them, that drove from place. One was kind of like an advanced team, and then there was, just other support staff. The press, I think there was some press that traveled with them, and that probably was one of those deals. Is like they got close to, like, let's do a little geography lesson here. So I live in Indiana, and the Freedom Train went through Atlanta, saw Brickzar, And then it went to Birmingham, and it switched over to the T1, the Reading T1 in Birmingham. And then it made its way kind of up towards me. So I would say that somewhere in that region there were probably local reporters or local news reporters. They would get on it and run from one city to the other. So like from Atlanta to Birmingham, there may be the same, but then when it left Birmingham, it may be somebody else. So like in my town, when it made it my town, the local news may have wrote it to, like, I think Louisville would have been one of them, next one, maybe St. Louis. These are a couple hour trips, so I don't know that any press rode the whole thing. Maybe they was. Could have been some that rode. It'd be a long commitment, almost 2-year commitment as a journalist to ride the whole time. So yeah, lots of support cars. Took a lot to kick this thing going, and it was only funded by people visiting. So the daily operation was done only by ticket sales. The initial cost was done, there were several companies, Pepsi being one of them, that helped get it going, but it was only funded by ticket sales. So a lot of people think this was a big federal project, but it wasn't. It was kind of almost a volunteer project. And I know the people that really worked on it were paid, but they had to hustle. They had to get out there and sell their tickets. So, all right, let's do some close-up run-by of what we got done so far, and thanks for watching. So you made it to the end of the line, and it must be comment contest time. I'm just having some coffee here from Earl out of my American Freedom Train mug. What other really cool item from Judy Garland was on the American Freedom Train? First correct answer in the comments will pin you to the top.